Where she is, guys, the 2018 Kawasaki Ninja H2 SX. This is the little brother to the H2R, the H2, and the Carbon H2. Now, it is not a super sport like its older brothers are. This is a sport tourer. Now, this is your base model of the sport tour. There are two models. This one and the SX SE, which stands for Special Edition. So what makes these different? First off, the color. The SX only comes in the metallic carbon gray. This is the only color you can get the base model in. The Special Edition comes in emerald blazed green and metallic Diablo black. That is the only color you can get that in. The other difference besides the colors between the SX base model and the Special Edition is heated grips, a quick shifter, a TFT color display, tall windscreen, center stand, cornering lights, braided steel brake lines, and a two-tone comfort seat. So for $3,000 more, you can get all that on the Special Edition, or you can stick with the base model SX as we did here. Now this bike is 200 horsepower, 105 feet-pounds of torque. It weighs 565 pounds. It's got a gas tank of 4.5 gallons. You can get an average mile per gallon anywhere between 45 and 50 if you choose to stay out of the throttle. And if you choose to stay out of the throttle and ride it in a more economical way, the claim is you can get about 180 miles out of one tank of gas. So here we go. What's the first questions that we always get? Well, there's always two questions when it comes to a new bike. Can I flat foot it because I'm this tall? And how is the riding position? This is a sport tour. You are in a more upright riding position. As you guys can see, this is your riding position. It's not real aggressive, and it's a little less upright than my 650. I actually sit a little bit more upright on my 650 than this bike. But there's not a lot of pressure on your arms. There's not a lot of pressure on your hands. It's a very comfortable position. Now, the second question I always get is, can I flat foot this bike? I'm this amount tall. First of all, the seat height is 32.9 inches, so basically 33 inches. On my 650, because that's what I can compare it to, it's 31.2 inches. I have no problem flat footing my 650. So let me kick this off the stand so you guys can see. I am 5'6", and I basically am flat footing. Now, I am in my motorcycle boots, which is a good suggestion for you guys. If you are going to go check out bikes and see which kind of bikes that, you like, and if you can flat foot them, wear the shoes that you ride in, because it's so different, and I'll explain why. When I put this up off the stand and I was barefooted, I was on my toes. When I had my sneakers on and did it, I was on the balls of my feet. But as you just saw, I basically flat foot with my boots. So please wear your riding boots or shoes, whatever you use when you ride your bike, when you go to check out motorcycles and see if they fit for you as far as being flat footed. Now let's get into the meat of what this bike has and all its exciting features that come with this bike. The SX also comes with KIBS, which is Kawasaki Intelligent Anti-Lock Brake System, which automatically regulates brake force using the engine data as well as the front, rear, wheel speed to prevent wheel lockup, allowing more stable control while slowing down. Also, this bike comes with EDR, Event Data Recorder. Now, that is basically what comes in your cars. What it is it will store data in case of an incident or an accident. Now, not all data might be stored in the Event Data Recorder. Depends on the severity of the accident. And what is recorded, your speed, your throttle opening, and engine crankshaft rotational speed. Now, Kawasaki does claim that they do not share this information, but as you and I well know, with a court order, this information could be obtained. So if you decide to 100% it, power mode, and grabbing that throttle and get in an accident, cop just might be able to tell how fast you are going. So the tires are 17-inch. They are Bridgestone Battle Axe Hyper Sport. You have dual compound in the front and triple compound in the rear. All lights on this motorcycle are LED. Your tail light, your front light, and your turn signals, which in the front are only on the mirror. There are no turn signals anywhere else on the front of the bike. And of course, your turn signals in the rear. The right side handlebar, you have your brake lever, which is factory and it's adjustable. You have your brake reservoir. You have your throttle. And you have your kill switch. And you have the button down here. Now, this button down here, which is normally your start button, is not the start button. You have to pull down on the kill switch to start the bike. This is your mode button, which I will explain in a minute. On the left side of the handlebar, you have your clutch lever, which again, stock and is adjustable. You have your clutch fluid because it is a hydraulic clutch. You have your pass, which if you flip out is also your high beam. You have upper, middle, and lower buttons, which are used for your settings and to go through the display, which I'll show you in a minute. You have your turn signals. You have your horn. You have a reset button. And you have cruise control. Yes, this comes with cruise control. Remember, it is a sport tour. The hazard lights, that just blows my mind. I think every bike should come with hazard lights, just like every car does. Now, I want to explain these buttons right here at the moment. If you hit the upper button, it says power. What that is that's your power mode. This bike comes with 3 power modes. You have the high power mode, which is 100% of the power, the middle power mode, which is 75% of the power, and you have the low power mode, which is 50%. So you can choose which power mode you want for that day. Now the middle button says KTRC. That is the Kawasaki traction control. There are 4 modes for that. Off, mode 1, which is, it'll still let you wheelie. Mode 2, which is, you might wheelie or you might not. And mode 3, which, you're not wheeling, it ain't happening. All right, guys, I decided to do the display and the tack at night so you guys could see, because there's so much that I want to show you guys with this. Now, on the left-hand side, you have your tack, normal RPMs, and around the outside of the tack, you have a whole bunch of different indicators and warning lights. You have your KEBC, which is your Kawasaki engine braking control. You have your KIBs, which I explained earlier. You have your turn signals, your ABS, your engine warning, your traction control, your warning indicator, your ambient brightness sensor, your high beam, your neutral, cruise control and cruise control set, battery warning, coolant temp warning, and oil pressure warning. Now that's all on the left hand side around the tack. Now on your right side is your display. Now you have your fuel gauge and you have your fuel warning. You have your gear indicator, which is always nice. You have your speedometer. In the upper right hand corner, you have your power that tells you what mode your power is in. We have it in medium, which would be 75%. And under that is your traction control to tell you which mode your traction control is. We have 2. Now you can do the traction control as you're going down the road, but you have to let off the throttle. So now down on the bottom left of your display is a multifunctional display. And what you do is you, on the left handlebar, where I showed you the upper, middle, and lower buttons, you push the middle button and it'll change. This is lean. If you want to watch the lean angle as you're actually going through a curve, which I don't know why you would, you can. Or you can check out the boost pressure as you're going down the road. I don't recommend staring at these things, but they're here. Or you can have the clock, which is what we leave up all the time. Now on the right lower left of the display is another multifunctional display. And you go through that by, again, on the left handlebar, the upper, middle, and lower buttons. You hit the lower button, and right now up is showing is miles per gallon average. Then you get your range, which is how far you can go on the tank of gas you have left. Then you have your coolant temperature. Then you have your outside temperature. You also have your boost temperature. And you have your boost pressure in percent. You also have your odometer, trip A, trip B, and your current mile per gallon. I showed you guys earlier on the right handlebar that there was a button that looked like your start button, but it wasn't. It's actually your mode button. And what that is you push that button and hold it, and it changes. Now, these are your settings. Now, in your settings, the first one that comes up is your unit setting. Basically, that's your measuring units. You can, there's 4 types you can use. You can do miles, you can do kilometers, you can do liters. So you go through for your locale and you pick which measuring unit you want. So when you hit the one of the upper or lower buttons on the left side handlebar, you can scroll through. Now, this is your brightness. I am so happy that Kawasaki put brightness mode on the display. I wish they do it for all the bikes. That's what my biggest complaint was for my 650, was not being able to adjust the brightness of the display. But here it does. And you have 3 modes: bright, medium, and dim. So you push the lower button again on the left-hand handlebar, and this is your shift lamp if you want your shift lamp to be on or off to tell you when to shift. Then you have your shift rev. You could set it anywhere between 3,000 and 12,000 RPM. Then you have your KEBC. Again, that's your Kawasaki engine braking control. There's 2 settings. It's either off, which is normal, or light, which is the smallest. Then you have your clock. You can set the clock. Next is the reset. Now, pushing this would reset all the settings that you just did for this bike. So be careful not to hit that. Then the next one is your max lean. Then you have left and max lean right. Now you notice the left had numbers and the right doesn't. These are resettable. The only difference is if the bike's leaned over on the kickstand, the left lean is never going to zero out where the right will. Then you have your battery, which is here, 12.5 volts. And that's it. And to get back to the normal display, you just press and hold the mode button, and you're back to normal. Look at the front of the motorcycle. Kind of cool looking, isn't it? Side of the motorcycle right here, kind of nice decorative. This side, not for decoration. This is the air cleaner intake, or basically, if you know what a ram air is, that's what it is. And inside you'll see hopefully you guys can see that, there's a screen in there. Want to make sure that screen, by the way, stays clean, you know, from bugs and other stuff that might have flown in there. But anyway, this goes around with a duct. It comes around this way. You can see there's the duct, and it goes right in to the motor. Now they also use this to help cool the supercharger. And off this duct right here, behind it is your air filter. Front and rear shocks are fully adjustable. Now the front are inverted forks. You can adjust the spring preload adjustment here on the top. Also on the top of each fork is your rebound dampening adjustment. Now if you come down on the front wheel, right here is your compression dampening adjustment. So fully adjustable here in the front. Now when you come back to the rear, your spring preload adjust is right here. And if I can get it in here so you guys can see this, right here, I'm gonna try to get my finger in there so you guys see, right there is your compression dampening adjust. Now that has two adjusters, the high speed and the low speed. And right there on the bottom of the rear shock is your rebound damping adjust. Now remember, all these adjustments are clockwise for increase and counterclockwise for decrease. It's an interesting feature that Kawasaki included on this motorcycle, and that's this right here. It is a drivetrain shock absorber. What it does is it absorbs the shock load on the drivetrain so that things don't break so easily. I think that's a really interesting feature that Kawasaki put on this bike. Now, if you want to do a chain adjustment, if you can see in here, right here where my finger's pointing, is your chain adjustment. And you need to loosen these two bolts to adjust your chain. Might do a video on that later when it's time to adjust the chain for you guys. Exhaust is new on this bike. It is 4-into-1, and there are crossover pipes on the header pipes to enhance the low and mid-range torque. So the pipe comes down into a collector and to the cat and out to the single silencer. Also, another little interesting thing on this bike is you noticed, wait, what's that? Are they lug nuts? Yep. The back wheel actually has lug nuts. How many motorcycles do you see that on, guys? So I want to talk about the seat. Now, if you guys can see this, and I hope you can, this seat is so comfortable. I mean, it's really thick and comfortable, as well as the passenger seat. Guess with a Sport Tour, they want your hiney to be comfy. Also, it comes with the handrails for the passenger, but these aren't just handrails. Here on each side is where you put the hard saddlebags. So what have we done to this bike so far? Well, so far, we have put on frame sliders. They are Evo Tech. I will put the link down in the description. We also put on the parabolic mirrors that we always do. And, of course, I don't know if you can see it, but my famous clear tank protector that I put on all my bikes because I can't decide what tank protector to put on there. Well, guys, that's it. This is our new addition. This is our new baby. And I hope this video has been helpful. It's hot out here. I'm sweating. Thank God it's been a nice day. We've had nothing but rain, sun, and even rain and sun at the same time. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. And if you are a subscriber, to make sure you don't miss any of my videos, make sure you hit that bell so you get notified as soon as I upload. So that's it, guys. Until next time, ride safe.